This is the January 10th, 2024 meeting of the DRB. We'll call this meeting to order. We have two items on the agenda tonight. We have one item of new business, which is a request to the DRB from Deadpan LLCC for a reaffirmation of a previously approved boundary line adjustment at 353 Browns Trace. And we have one item of old business that's on the agenda, which is an appeal to the DRB by KCS LLCC of a zoning administrator's determination. And then we have an item of approving the minutes from December 13th. We have been notified by the folks related to KCS LLCC that they will not be able to attend tonight. So we expect to see that continued due to the weather. So this proceeding will be conducted in an orderly manner consistent with the DRB's rules of procedure. Written copies of the procedure are available, but we will walk you through. First question is that have there been any ex parte communication or conflict of interest from any of the items we're going to see tonight among the board members?
No.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm going to read the information of interested parties. And then I'm going to swear people in who are going to speak tonight. So an interested party are those who under Vermont law have the right to appeal an act or decision of the Jericho zoning administrator or the DRB. These interested persons include the applicant, or if the applicant does not own the property, the person owning title to the property, a person owning or occupying property in the immediate neighborhood of a property that is the subject of any zoning decision or act, who can determine a physical or environmental impact on the person's interest under the criteria reviewed, and who alleges that decision or act, if confirmed, will violate the municipal plan or bylaw. And then any 10 persons, either voters or landowners, who by signed petition to the DRB allege that the decision or act, if confirmed, will violate the municipal plan or bylaw. The petitioners must designate one person to serve as a representative. Interested person status is important because only those people who are statutorily defined interested persons may appeal a decision of a zoning officer or DRB. If they fail to make a timely appeal, they are bound by that decision. And interested persons must participate in the hearing to protect their appeal rights. And that's why we ask you to sign in. We don't decide who's an interested person. That's part of the appeal process. And that's why we ask you to sign. So we will, anyone who's going to speak tonight, I will read the oath and you say, I do. I hereby swear that the evidence I give and the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
I do.
Can you state your name?
Matthew Wheeler.
Okay, we'd also like to, in the chat, if you can put in your address information, so if we need to send you anything, we have the proper address, please.
Okay, that sounds great.
For the record, I'm Hugh Griffiths, representing LLC.
Okay. So Hugh, why don't you come up and take us through your request?
So basically, this is what happened is for several reasons we've been dragging our feet with this and wound up going ahead with a closing date. I filed the plat, the glide with the town, and then the Wheeler and Limoges folks who own this home, who are subdividing off this lot, their attorney noticed that this backup septic easement was not on the plat that was filed. Originally, we were like, okay, we could maybe resubmit it with your guys, with your with the select board signature, but that didn't fly with their attorney. So an amendment needed to be made because in adding this on, Trudell, who had forgotten to add it on to begin with, which this is an existing easement. The Wheelers had it as part of their lot, their existing lot. prior to this subdivision. And once we added it back on, we realized that it wouldn't be accessible from their new lot, which will, their home lot. So we needed to add this little pie slice to add this on, which then completely changed. It was an amendment to an existing easement. Well, easements are typically agreements between neighbors. Again, their attorney wanted it in writing, wanted it official. So, long story short, we needed to refile, after all this. And so here we are adding this little wedge right here so that their lot for the existing home, will have access to their backup septic easement. And this, new lot, which they're creating by a minor subdivision.
No,
because
I'm
it's-
gonna just interrupt you.
Yeah, go for it.
What, this is a boundary line adjustment. There is
Right.
no subdivision, there's no creation of a new lot. Basically, the property is being absorbed into Hugh's existing property.
Correct.
And so just as a correction matter, that property that's being transferred is not a developable lot. You're not contemplating creating a new lot at all.
Correct. And what, but because it's 0.51 acres, it was considered by the town a minor subdivision.
No, no subdivision at all.
I had to file with the state for a wastewater permit and all that stuff.
That's state stuff.
Okay, so anyway. This is basic, for all intents and purposes, this is a boundary line adjustment, just like Chris said. And he's kicking my shin, to shut me up. So, in any case, we're just looking to, maintain the character of this space with, the Myers property. This would be a home otherwise. They're looking to preserve the peace and tranquility of their backyard. Clearies are right here. It just, again, having another home in here would be tight. So in any case, that's where we're at.
Yeah, so in 2001, there was a boundary line adjustment done that the DRB approved.
Yeah.
And the plat got filed, but when they went to transfer the property, the easements weren't on. And so basically, the attorney, because the way the decision was written, that all easements and deeds will be filed within 180 days.
Yes.
So essentially, the plat could be viewed as being defective because it didn't have the easement. So it's got to come back to the board. And so basically, it's been warned as a boundary line adjustment to reaffirm the original approval, because there's really no substantive change in what you guys have reapproved. So by reaffirming the approval, it starts the 180-day clock, and they can actually refile the plat correctly, so it has the easement on it, and everybody will be happy.
And I'll be
You're allowed to approve
In this,
smaller boundary adjustments.
in this area here, because it's the village center district, I can only approve up to 0.25 acres. That's the zoning district.
Yeah.
So that's my restriction. So this, since this is over, it's got to come to the DRB.
And our intent is to close hopefully sooner rather than later. So if this is approved, I'd be filing the plat with the town as soon as possible, basically, because the Wheelers are headed out of town for a couple of months. Wheeler Limoges family are headed out of town for a couple of months. So we're hoping to affect the closing.
The only thing that we haven't seen from an office standpoint is essentially deeds,
Yeah.
but they're gonna be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Right.
And
we can
the reason-
condition that.
I'm sorry?
We can condition.
Yeah. So basically, if it's were to be approved, plat filed in 180 days, including all the appropriate deeds.
Jeff would be, Jeff Wick, their attorney would be writing up the deed once if approval is given
Just make,
by you folks.
just make sure we want it before 180 days. Yeah.
1000%, and this is, yeah, so anyway, that's where we're at. It's basically, this is the only thing that you have not seen or approved, or the folks that did approve this originally, was this tiny little amendment, to the existing easement.
Is this the property that had the shared septic off of,
Right.
on that
Yes.
property?
Yeah.
Correct.
I thought there was discussion at the time of that being its only accessible.
Originally, the Wheelers had an application in to subdivide,
Correct.
and basically there was some agita with the neighbors. and things along those lines. So they found a palatable solution for everybody with the boundary line adjustment. And just for clarity's standpoint, even if this had been approved and plat L filed, and they decided to put the easement in afterwards, that easement wouldn't have come to the board.
Got it.
It wouldn't have been for you guys to review. It's between private parties. But since we're here, they've included it, so Hughes pointed that out.
Originally, what you might have seen is they had, their existing driveway comes up here.
Yeah.
And it was gonna continue on to this lot, and they had, put in, I believe, to have a 2 or 3 3-bedroom home put there, I think is what it was, but,
That's what.
and then just in the name of, again, keeping the status quo of things, I said, hey, how about I save you the issue of going through the whole construction process, and what are you looking for to get out of it? And that's ideally what we wound up agreeing on.
So this is still your property.
This is, the Dead Pine lot is over here. This is the Myers property. This acreage is what I'm looking to purchase. There's a 1/100th of an acre that is being, that's subdivided off of.
No, boundary line
Or
adjustment.
no, boundary line adjustment off of, thank you. Is coming off the Cleary parcel just for egress. It's a right of way. And well, yeah.
That way it's contiguous as part of his property.
Correct, of this lot right here,
So it's not its own independent lot.
No.
correct.
Yeah, it's all absorbed. Yeah.
It's all gonna be a part of this lot right here. With, again, the main goal of preserving the status quo of the character of that area. So that's that.
Good job, Hugh.
Thanks.
Any questions on the board?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any questions. We'll open up to any questions from. I guess Matt would be the only person.
Well, if anybody in the public who's participating wants to raise their hand, if they have any questions or comments, please raise your hand. We'll invite you in to speak. Otherwise, you're gonna lose your opportunity. Going once. Going twice. Okay. No questions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Griffith.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is an appeal to the DRB by KCS LLC. Is there anyone here or online to talk to this one?
We do have one member of the public. And I think it probably would behoove the board if they had any questions of the board or process or procedure to let her ask. Otherwise, we can, I mean, the downside is we're now moving. We now have to set a time certain date because they didn't show up. And I don't think, as much as I like to have this hearing heard, I think if we heard it with them not here, it would end up in appeal. I think if we hear it and you make a decision, it's probably still gonna end up in an appeal. That being said, the next time certain date, that I would recommend, because our next meeting, January 24th, is gonna be a fairly large hearing, would be, the next date would be February 14th. Valentine's Day. So Justin, you can get out of that dinner.
I'm not here that day, so
Okay,
not that that matters.
I mean, if everybody else is gonna be
Go for it.
here and available,
I'll be here.
okay,
Good.
Yeah.
okay, so we will have a quorum, so. You don't have anything you wanna ask, or
I would love to ask, and if you can answer, that'd be great.
actually come up here, so
Oh,
and
sorry.
introduce yourself too, please.
Yeah, Alyssa Kuchar. I'm at 15 Morgan. Been there about a year now and in the middle of all the lovely construction. So I've read all of the documents because I didn't want to waste any of your time, but I don't speak a lot of that technical term. So I'm hoping out of this meeting, I was trying to figure out what is this appeal for? What is the current state? What are they trying to accomplish? I don't know if you can answer that for me.
Yeah, so the appeal basically, excuse me, the nature of the appeal is that, the applicant in 2016 had a project that was denied. They appealed that project to the environmental court. That appeal resulted into a mediation agreement between the town and the parties. So that gave the applicant the ability to move forward with the project. The project sat dormant for quite some years. They pulled permits this spring for the project based on the stipulation agreement from the court, which is you're seeing the result of that building now. They wanted to amend that court decision to change the project, to increase it, and change some, natures of the building. I did not allow that application to go to the board because it wasn't procedurally correct. Any decision that I make, whether it's for a sign or the nature of this, is appealable. People can say I'm wrong, and it gets appealed to the DRB.
Okay.
So they end up hearing the nature of the appeal. The nature of the appeal essentially is they wanted to amend the previous approval. They were informed by me that they couldn't do that, that they needed to submit a totally new application. They disagreed. They wanted to file something to amend. I wouldn't accept it because it wasn't procedurally correct.
Okay.
And so that's the nature of the appeal. That's what the board will end up hearing.
Okay, and are they trying to add another unit to the?
That
like
was
a
some of their,
fourth?
that was some of their concept that they had.
Okay,
So
and is there, like, it's only a 6-acre lot, is there rules and regulations from the town at how many buildings you can have per acreage? Should I look those up later?
well, per the settlement agreement, it's 3-acre zoning. So basically they asked for a 50% density bonus. As part of the settlement agreement is one of the duplexes had to, basically, they agreed to having an affordable
Right,
duplex in perpetuity. So that gave them a 50% density bonus. So if we look at the density, the duplexes at that point were allowed, you could do 2 on 3 acres. If you get 50% density bonus granted, you could have a third.
gotcha,
So
okay, and they want the 4th,
now
possibly,
they've got different concepts.
okay.
Yep.
One last question, do you know the future of who's gonna manage are they gonna sell them outright, or are they gonna, you
I
don't know?
don't know. I don't know if they're gonna be rentals or
Okay.
sold or what.
All right, that's all I have, thank you,
Thank you.
see you on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Bring chocolates.
Yeah.
Phil likes chocolates.
Okay, we have one more item on the agenda, that is to approve the minutes for December 13th.
And I will move that the minutes be approved.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. Okay, we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting, and we'll have a brief executive session here,
That's
deliberative session.